All right. Thanks to everybody that's joining us. Sorry we're a little late. Technical issue we got solved. You're picking us up here in the fourth frame. Here you see Brian Tippett. Behind early in this match, Hinrichmeyer starts front three.
Do you guys need anything to drink?
Lorelei De La Rosa checking in on us here in the booth. Once again, we got a little fix we need to make here. Let's give you the rundown. Once again, apologize for the late start here. Catching up with the action. There's your number 3 seed, Trey Hinrichmeyer. He started with the front four. Brian Tippett, you can see there, he doesn't have a strike yet in the 5th. We'll get that score corrected. He'll be fixing that 3, 6, 9, 10. As Tippett cooling off. There is more than one use for a hand dryer. It's not necessarily just a hand dryer, as Tippett showing there. Zach Wilkins is your number 2 seed. Your number 1 seed is A.J. Johnson. As we wait through this breakdown. All right, still waiting on that fix of the 3, 6, 9, 10 at the back. There you see Brian Ducey from Dog Tags Bowling talking with Zach Wilkins and A.J. Johnson, your number 2 seed and number 1 seed respectively. Brian does a lot for veterans that involves the sport of bowling. Always good to see Brian there. If we pan up a little bit to the up and to the left, you see Sean Johnson, A.J.'s dad, and Judy Johnson there. Checking out what's going on the phone. I like when we get to use spy cam technology. We're not really spying on stuff. And during this pause in the action, just want to remind everybody we've got some great sponsors that help out 10 on the Deck live streaming all season long. That includes H5G Brands. They are the official merchandisers of the PBA, and they can get you set up with some great jerseys. Brian Ducey wearing some H5G wear right there, and AJ Johnson as well. That patriotic jersey that AJ has on is the H5G design. So they're often imitated, they're never duplicated. If you want a great jersey or you want some great PBA swag, get it from h5gbrands.com and from the PBA LBC National Championships. Thanks for their support. 3rd year of this PBA LBC National Championship starting next weekend at Bolero Mount Prospect nearby. And you talk about some star power for the opening day, Saturday, May 31st. Kyle Troop coming in and bowling the opening squad at 9 a.m. next Saturday. And you'll be able to watch every pair of the live streaming throughout the entire 7 weekends of the event at PBA.com on YouTube. Pardon me, not PBA.com, on PBA YouTube. And then we'll have Norm Duke coming to you for our opening ceremonies. And it looks like we're going to be back underway here after that slight delay, but it's not too late to sign up for the PBA LBC National Championships. You can do that through the link you see on the screen right there, pba.com/LBC tournament. So we'll get Tippett's score corrected here, as you see Tippett all the way to the left side approach. Yikes. Did he get the 9? He did get the 9. No. Hinrichmeyer steps up on the front four. You see that ball coming into your picture. Nicely done by Trey. And the front five on the scoreboard for Hinrichmeyer. Hinrichmeyer, 1,000 blocked for 4 games earlier in the event. In our advancers round this morning. Then he started his round of 16 block off with a 288 game. And finished his round of 8, 238, 224 to secure the number 2 position. And I think he likes it. Not a lot of reaction there for 6 in a row, but he's got it on the board as Tippett steps back up. Hey, it's our buddy Matty. Hi, Matty. Getting things cleaned up after the bowlers are done here. Yeah, it's strike and spare 2 as we're down to our final 4 players. Tippett looking to stay close. That ball on target line. Nope, I thought it was on target line. I'm surprised it hung that long. And Tippett's finding himself in a world of hurt early in this match. Tippett, 723 series in the round of 16. Follow that with 223 and 266 in the round of 8. And he gets to cover. But he's backed by a bunch early here. I shouldn't say early. We're past the halfway point in our opening step ladder match. Once again, Zach Wilkins, your number 2 seed, will be up next, taking on the winner of this match, and then A.J. Johnson waiting in the wings for the champion. Here you see Tippett to the foul line. And 10 back for Tippett. And Hinrichmeyer wasting no time stepping up, getting ready to try to throw his 7th in a row. He wants to end any doubt in this match early. Up the boards, in the pins, and the front 7 for Trey as he tries to defend the title he won last year. He was on the scorpion pattern last year. .42 feet in length. We're on 35-foot cheetah. I think you could throw out 55-foot or something on Hinrichmeyer, or 22 feet or something. The way he's been bowling in strike and spare the last couple of seasons, I don't think he'd have much of an issue. Putting a great game on the scoreboard. Let's see what he can do here for his excellent 8th in a row. Yeah, not happy with the timing. You just see right there, went right back to the hand dryer. And even though the player doesn't use the thumb, moisture, a little sweat on the palm, that ball isn't free, right? You don't want it slipping off. Trey doesn't use that thumb. Rolls it up on the forearm and rolls 10 back. Front 9, this match no longer in doubt. Tippett just knows going through the motions. It's pretty much over. As he steps up, 8th frame. Oh, and of course that insult to injury. Hey, you're having a guy throw the front bunch at you. Let's just slam at a 7-pin. Not a bad weekend to work. 4th place money today. It's 4 figures. He's walking out with $1,000. I don't think anybody would complain walking into the local bowling center for a dozen hours or so on a weekend and walking out with $1,000. Tip it with the cover. But it's all over but the check writing by Toby Contreras. And there you see Toby keeping an eye on the match, pen in hand. Does he have a fine slip in the other? He should give me a fine slip. Once again, we apologize for the late start on this stream on the opening match. But we are going to definitely have a barn burner. On our last 2 matches with a couple of PBA Elite Tour professionals. With Zach Wilkins coming up in the next match. And A.J. Johnson coming up, and a little more chat. I wonder what the chat is back there right now between those 3 people. I mean, Wilkins and Johnson get ready to decide a championship. Ducey's just trying to get intel. How about the front 9? We have yet to have a perfect game in a stepladder finals that 10 of the Deck Productions has performed for either PBA YouTube or hosting on one of the PBA regional Facebook pages. And Trey Hinrichmeyer, he hasn't broken a sweat throwing the first 9. He's cool, calm, and collected. He's the only player in the history of the PBA LBC National Championships to own 2 Mini Dukes. You received that Mini Duke by throwing a 300 in PBA LBC National Championships competition. He did it the last game in 2023 and the first game of 2024. So he's got the bookend Dukes, and the 6 says, "Sorry, sir, not this time." You see the wry smile on the way back. Should have given it a little bit more. And there you see Trey going to convert the spare. Yeah. Doesn't much matter. And Tippett now going to finish things off after the 267 by Hinrichmeyer. Follow a smash 7 on that lane with a 4-8 light. Okay. You see everybody giving Tippett a little bit of a hard time, but I'll tell you what, 4th place for Tippett, not a bad finish for the weekend. Even with the loss, 267 and a chop to really stick it to him.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, match 1 is over. Of course, congratulations, Brian Tippett, a great tournament. Averaged 231 all through the qualifyings and the advancers rounds. Great bowling all day. He won't go home without a nice little $1,000 check and a 4th place position, all the points that go with that. So at this time, our number 2 seed, Zach Wilkins, will get 8 warm-up shots on 31 and 2. And our number 1 seed, A.J. Dickinson, will get 4. Trey, you may stay loose on any of those 6 down there. Yes, you may.
All right, so there's your 1 seed, A.J. Johnson, your 2 seed, Zach Wilkins practicing, chatting things over. They bowled every game this morning on the same pair, every game this afternoon at this point on the same pair, as they were the 1 and 2 seeds coming into today after yesterday's qualifying. And they remained in the number 1 and 2 positions throughout the elimination rounds today. Johnson averaged 245 yesterday. Averaged that once again, actually a little better than that today for his overall tournament total. And from watching both these players up close and personal all weekend long, I guarantee you they are going to have the right ball in their hands at the right time throughout their stepladder matches. I don't see them getting fooled on what ball to use, even though they're trying different pieces right now. I guarantee you any flaw that appears on their score sheet is going to be because of physical execution issues. And, of course, the occasional bad break with the ball traveling through the 1-3 too firmly. We've seen a couple players leave more 9 pins than 10 pins today. Zach and AJ get a little bit more practice, or you see Hinrichmeyer staying loose. I don't see in the next match between Wilkins and Hinrichmeyer, I don't see 230 being a guarantee of a winning score. As we mentioned earlier, Hinrichmeyer, when he got going earlier today on the fresh, put up 1,000 block for 4. And with the fresh application of this cheetah pattern prior to the start of our stepladder finals, I hate to say it, you've got the seasoned veteran of Wilkins on the PBA Tour, Hinrichmeyer, the up-and-comer, defending champion. I think you got to give slight edge Hinrichmeyer coming in the next match. If there was a betting line on this particular event. I'd have to make Hinrichmeyer a bit of the favorite. So practice is complete. Wilkins will have lane choice, so I would think that he would give the start to Hinrichmeyer on lane 31. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's got a little bit more of a look on 32. We'll find out with the announcements here from Toby Contreras.
All right, come on down. All right, we're ready for match number 2 of our stepladder finals of the 2025 PBA Midwest Celeste Walker Midwest Central Open here at Striking Spare Lanes for the several years we've been here, and it's been our largest regional in the Midwest for the last half dozen years, 5-6 years. An incredible turnaround that Chris and staff have done here, making us feel at home. Zach is the number 2 seed. He's been averaging 238 all tournament, and he has chosen to start the match. He'll bowl 1 break on lane 31, and then Trey will start on lanes 32 with 2 breakers, continuing to Zach finishing the match on lanes 32. All right, let's have a round of applause for the second match of the stepladder finals, and we'll get this show on the way.
Thank you, Toby. Boy, it's been a weekend. Largest regional in the Midwest for the last 5 years. Ignore those totals you see on the screen. That's just because they were throwing some balls in practice and then did some erasing of frames. We're starting off fresh here. Frame 1, Wilkins, 10 back. And we know both these players can throw a lot of strikes, and we know they're going to need to throw a lot of strikes in order to advance in the finals. There you see the man in the finals, A.J. Johnson, He's your 1 seed, and not surprisingly, Trey Hinrichmeyer keeps striking. Front 9 last game is 267 to 181 victory over Brian Tippett, and I mean that match was over by frame 8. Hinrichmeyer looking to do the same thing here. As Hinrichmeyer gets that hand, we've seen he's had some moisture issues. He's gone back to the hand dryer more than once for some shots. That needs help. Oh, he did scramble it up. You could tell he wasn't real happy with the release on that shot. We've seen Trey walk away from a couple shots today when he's really pured it. And now Wilkins looking to match the opening double by Hinrichmeyer. I keep waiting for O Canada to break out every time I see Zach Wilkins' jersey. Down the line, heading back towards that pocket. Make it happen. We are even. After 2 frames, and there you see. I bet you Trey's looking at social media right now, seeing how many of his friends are following here in the live stream. But you can't sit there and focus, hyper focus on things. You could find yourself messing up. You see a lot more players doing that. They focus, they get the hyper focus going up on a shot like this, like we see for Wilkins, and then take the breath, ease into the shot. Whoa, now. If you tell me he actually meant to throw it there, he's not giving anything away. That ball was easily to right of where that first frame shot was. But Wilkins gets the front 3. Hinrichmeyer up to the line. Watch that ball walk in. Shred it. Count it. 3 in a row for both our players here in semifinal match number 2. Johnson just trying to stay loose. He's got the shoe cover going on. I think he's done with practice for now. I think it's safe to say that AJ knows exactly where he wants to be on this championship pair. No, yeah, you can see Hinrichmeyer making sure the focus, making sure the hand's good. Watch that ball roll up on the forearm. Powerful release. Gets it in. Oh, that 7 tried to stand. Not this time, says Hinrichmeyer. We are in another back and forth battle. We saw it earlier, a big roll-off we had to get to the round of 8 between Ryan Spear and Cameron Crowe. And both those players started with the front 6 before Spear ended up pulling out the victory before the round of 8 to advance. Here you see Wilkins a little bit more the ball weight on that left hand to start. Then he rolls the ball back on the forearm, and the 6-pin flips forward. Doesn't get to the 10, and Zach didn't want to have to use that spare ball. Looks like he's going back to get it. Sometimes it's a superstition thing for a player. I don't want to have to use my spare ball. Therefore, if I leave it in back, maybe it won't have to come out. So Wilkins, there you see, way over to the left side of the approach, using that whole lane and accounting for the 25 feet of dry on this pattern. And the first blemish on the scorecard appearing for these players with Wilkins in the 4th frame. Wilkins looks like he bumped his feet a little bit to the left from last time he was on lane. He took that second look down he didn't take earlier in the third frame. Hinrichmeyer already getting up. Yeah, you see, yeah, he got away with that one definitely in the third frame. Because that ball, he was trying to get that ball about 5 down at the break point. That one in the third was about 2. So Wilkins stays close. And Wilkins been, I mean, all day he was trying to catch up to A.J. Johnson. And he'd throw a good game, and A.J. would throw another good game to follow. And let's see what Hinrichmeyer can do here. Oh, the vicious wrap 10. And with a spare here, we're back to even in this game. Turns into a 5-frame match. Bowler eliminated in this game takes home $1,200. Just a bit of a paycheck difference between first and third. Second gets you $1,800. First today, $3,000. The only person with a bigger pay than that in the building today is Toby Contreras. Well, probably not. Yikes. And I don't know, there's a conversation going on down the concourse, and I don't know if that threw Trey off a little bit, but the unforced mental error now has Hinrichmeyer down for the first time so far on the stepladder. He's going to take an extra second to recompose himself here. He's a smart kid. He might only be 19 years old, but he knows you can't give a PBA elite player any type of advantage in the match, especially a stepladder. That time the 6 does the job on the 10. And now Wilkins stepping up. When he sat down in the 5th frame, he may have thought, oh, I'm behind the match thanks to the error by Hinrichmeyer. Wilkins now ahead and looking to extend that lead to 12. If he can pile on here in the 6th frame. You see a lot of that weight early, then it rotates back to the right hand and it rolls up that right forearm for Wilkins. Oh, pays full price. It's Sunday. We're going to church and we're taking a friend. The Greek church with the 3-pin. And he seems a little stunned that that ball had that type of movement on it. And that count also having a huge effect. If he doesn't pick up a bunch. You see 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10 for Wilkins. Down the line, is he going to get them all? Oh, that ball hung, and wow, that's an unusual 4 to get out of that. And now the advantage goes back to the deficit for Wilkins, and he's still wondering what in tarnation happened on that shot in the 6th frame. So the lead swings back to Hinrichmeyer. 245 now the maximum for Wilkins. Hinrichmeyer can get to 267, so Hinrichmeyer has a little room for error if he has a spare with good count. And that one just a touch in. I wonder if all the breakdown, 4 righties on the pair, maybe they just clipped him in a unique place that Wilkins didn't expect on that right lane. And as you see, Hinrichmeyer wasting no time getting ready. Zach, you need to come back. You still have 3 frames left, even though you're frustrated right now. Yeah, you get one of those shots where you just wonder what happened. I thought I aced it. And then it goes, in this case, slamming through the face. Hinrichmeyer steps out on it, scrambles him up, and maintains the advantage here. And we could have a rematch of last year's Celeste Walker Open Championship with Hinrichmeyer and Johnson. Remember last year, Hinrichmeyer took home the title 244 to 204. Can Hinrichmeyer make it back to back? He's got to get out of this match first. Oh, how about that? The 6-pin, I think, helped that Messenger bounce back, turn around. He's back there shaking his head going, come on, man. I got to get that break. And now it's mandatory strike mode for Wilkins to get to 235. Hinrichmeyer with plenty of room for error to get to that 235 number. I don't think lane 32 is on Wilkins' Christmas card list this year. He's going to take the re-rack on lane 31. As you see on PBA Tour TV events, any PBA event at any level, players receive 2 re-racks per game of competition. Whenever they so choose, any additional re-racks would have to be awarded by Toby Contreras, our Midwest Regional Manager. And after a strike here in the 9th, if Wilkins can pull it off, he's just going to have to turn into spectator, and it's going to take a lot of help from Hinrichmeyer to let Wilkins come back up and have a chance to win in the 10th frame. There you go. Boy, if that shot in the 6th is a strike for Wilkins instead of the 44. I think the bowlers sometimes forget that we have the camera on this side. As you see, Wilkins kind of reminding me of an Italian grandmother getting mad at something with both hands in the air, shaking the back of the hands at the person. Hinrichmeyer kneels down, and he can end this one very quickly. Any mark. If he goes 9 out, if he goes 9 on the first ball and a miss like we saw in frame 5, Hinrichmeyer would be at 234. That would let Wilkins punch all 3 to win by a pin. So you know Hinrichmeyer with that glance up at the scoreboard, he knows the situation. A.J. Johnson waiting to see who he's going to face. Just making sure that he's not practicing in anybody's way. Hinrichmeyer likes it, and there you go. That's your match. And boy, what could have been. As Wilkins steps up in the 10th. If that 44 was a strike for Wilkins. The scoring system of bowling we talked about during A-Squad yesterday. It can really turn a game around in a hurry with a bad shot instead of a string of strikes. I mean, we had that earlier today with A.J. Johnson. He had a 3-bagger, guttered, and went 9 on the fill ball. Not the fill ball, 9 on the second shot, and then struck some more. That gutter 9 cost him 42 pins in count if he would have struck instead. So there you go, 213 for Wilkins. 267.
All right, we got one in the books.
For Hinrichmeyer.
Match 2 of the STEPLADDER finals of the Celeste Walker Midwest Central Open are done. Congratulations, Zach Wilkins, great tournament. Well, all Wicked Long. Also, congratulations, Trey Hinrichmeyer. He'll advance to meet our tournament leader, A.J. Johnson. AJ Johnson will be getting 10 warm-up shots on lanes 31 and 32. Trey, you may stay loose on the warm-up pairs to our left. Trey is increasing his 230, 267, so we'll see what this championship match will bring. It's going to be quite exciting with AJ averaging nearly 250 through the entirety of 17 games so far bowled this weekend. So we've got a lot of exciting bowling coming up for you. A big culmination in this title match. Can't wait. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Toby Contreras. As you heard him say, AJ Johnson's going to receive 10 practice shots on this championship pair, and something tells me maybe trying to slow Trey down a little bit. AJ might be a little deliberate during these warm-up shots. We want to thank our sponsors that help 10 on the Deck Productions bring you PBA Regional live streaming all season long. One of those being H5G Brands, the official merchandiser of the PBA. You see the H5G logo on the back of both of our finalist jerseys. If you like the way they look, AJ Johnson being patriotic, or Trey being Trey, he's patriotic too. He's Junior Team USA. Trust me, there is a patriot there in Trey Hinrichmeyer as well. Check out the jersey styles available to you. You can see some of your favorite PBA elite professionals and other players' styles, or design your own with one of the H5G's super talented designers. Check it out and get yourself some PBA swag at h5gbrands.com. And we'd like to thank PBA LBC National Championships. Start next weekend at nearby Bolero Mount Prospect, about a 40-minute drive from here at Strike and Spare 2 up in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. 7 weekends of competition, 8 divisions of competition, guaranteed prize money at the top on every division, including $25,000 on top in the Open Classic division. And opening weekend, Kyle Truppel in the opening squad next Saturday, May 31st at 9 a.m. And Norm Duke going to be on site for the opening ceremonies and, of course, to unveil this year's edition of the Duke Trophy at 1:30 p.m. at Bolero Mount Prospect. So if you're not bowling this weekend, go on up there, check it out. And you can still get in to those PBA LBC National Championships at pba.com/LBC tournament. Thanks to everybody that's tuning in to watch live. Thanks to all you that are jumping in on the live stream archive as well for this rematch of the 2024 championship, where Hinrichmeyer took down the finals. Johnson looking for a little revenge. Johnson winner here in 2022. That was his 10th regional title. That one put him into double digits. Looking for at least title number 11. I think he's won 1 regional since 2022. We definitely know he's won a PBA Tour title when he won the Lucky Larson in Sweden back in 2023. And I'll tell you what, for both these players, even though they may have a different attitude, Trey looks a little loose on the back of the lanes. AJ looks monster focused right now. Both these players have the same goal, that is taking home that title, taking home the $3,000. Now Trey is a collegiate player, so officially he doesn't get credit for a PBA title as he's not a member yet, even though collegiate players with the PBA rules that are in place are allowed to bowl as many PBA events as they possibly can that have openings in the field, like Trey's doing today, but it will not count on his official records as a title if he were to win again. AJ would just be piling on to that double-digit total he already has. AJ trying a couple pieces of equipment. I don't think I've seen a ball change at a Hinrichmeyer. And this could be one of those matches where with Hinrichmeyer throwing urethane, Johnson throwing reactive, they could be, working off of each other's particular traits of the bowling ball. The urethane creating carry down and the resin getting through the front part of the lane much cleaner, and using that carry down as a bit of a bounce zone. Urethane obviously, because of its characteristics, doesn't bounce as much at the end of the pattern as reactive resin would, or a reactive resin-like ball as we see in the hand there for AJ. I might not know a lot about bowling balls, but I know that one's they call it a microcell polymer. It has urethane-like characteristics. As you watch the difference, you just watch the difference in the back end reaction between these two shots. Hey, I want to give a special shout out while we have time before we start our championship match to our production personnel here today. We have a crew of 2. I myself on the call and switching the show for you, and Rogue Foppy handling this great camera angle we have for you, showing you all the emotions the players are showing while they're on the approach and going through their shot. Glad to have Rogue on board with 10 on the Deck Productions again this year, and if you see either one of us at the upcoming PBA LBC National Championships, we'll be handling the live streaming for the PBA. That's something that AJ doesn't want to see again. Make sure you stop by the broadcast booth at Bellarmont Prospect. Say hi to us. Let us know you caught this live stream from Strike and Spare 2, and we appreciate everybody that's tuned in so far today. And that'll catch us in the archives all weekend long. Obviously, Memorial Day weekend. Never forget our troops that paid the ultimate price for us to have the freedoms we have here on Memorial Day weekend, but enjoy the fruits of their sacrifice every day of the year here in the US of A. Love that patriotic jersey that AJ Johnson's got on. And if he can cave an 8-10 like that on a light hit, watch out. Trey Hinrichmeyer might have to shoot another 267 game in order to win. And it looks like practice is complete. And we should be underway momentarily here from Strike and Spare 2 and this Celeste Walker Midwest Central Open championship match. And once the official announcements are made by Toby Contreras, we will get underway.
We worked all weekend coming down to this match. It's going to be a lot of strikes. What we're hoping to see. I know we'll see a lot of great shot making. These two gentlemen are caliber bowlers. Our top seed, AJ Johnson, averaging 249.9, knocking on that 250 door through the 17 games. And of course, Trey 232 for the same 17 games, and then 267 the first 2 games of this STEPLADDER finals. AJ has chosen to finish first, so he's going to let Trey start the match on lane 31. Same scenario as the last 2 matches. After that first frame is bowled, it will go with a 2-frame sequence until that last frame, where Trey will finish on lane 32. Thank you again. Strike Spare 2, Chris Watson staff, taking care of us. Phil Brylo and Rogue on the deck. Yes, love it. Thank you very much for that. Broadcasting live on the PBA YouTube channel. Waited all weekend to see who's going to take home the championship, the check, and that wonderful trophy. All right, bowlers, please start the match, split the 8-9, and of course, make your spares.
All right, once again, hey, we want to thank everybody that came this weekend, the Strike and Spare 2 in person. We want to thank everyone who's watching right now for what they've done. And Trey Hinrichmeyer would like to thank the hand dryer for taking away a little bit more of that moisture before stepping up in the approach for our rematch of our 2024 Celeste Walker Midwest Central Open Championship. This one should be a high-scoring affair. And Hinrichmeyer starts with a strike, and A.J. Johnson knows, as a past champion here in this building and PBA Tour champion, it's going to take a big score. He's put up enough of them all weekend long. Couple of perfect games for A.J., along with a 297. It's not too shabby out of 17 games of competition to have 3 shots at perfection throughout your day. There is that Patriot. I want to salute that jersey right now. You see the steps to the line. Watch that ball. Different motion than we see with Hinrichmeyer and the urethane. A little more pronounced movement for Johnson's ball on the back end, but once again, you can have all the movement on a bowling ball that you want, unless you have it set to pop through the 1-3 pocket properly for a right-hander. Revs, speed, don't do much without the accuracy and control. You need to go with it. This almost reminds me of the old shot down on the PBA Tour where they'd have all the way down the lanes that they weren't using on ABC back in the day. Johnson with that black venom in hand. Yikes. I mentioned earlier, it's not going to be the wrong ball in hand that's going to be the issue for these players this game. It's going to be the physical execution, and A.J. just not even close on that shot. No problem on the cover. See what Hinrichmeyer can do here. Both of his earlier matches, both 267 games and victories over Tippett and Wilkins. Hinrichmeyer got out to early strike strings in his opening match. It was actually the front 9 before an open frame in the 10th. And there you go. Hinrichmeyer just saying, don't give me any openings. I'm going to keep taking care of business. Tell you what, somebody that's got to be pretty happy right now. It's our friends at H5G Brands, both jerseys on our players here from H5G. Check them out when we're done, h5gbrands.com. And the PBA LBC National Championships as well. Trey Hinrichmeyer, former champion of that event in its inaugural year. I want to thank both of those supporters of 10 on the Deck live streaming here on PBA YouTube. Looking for 3 in a row. Make it happen, make it so, Trey Hinrichmeyer. And now A.J. Johnson finds himself down 20 early. And a position he hasn't had to be in since about game 4 of this event. He has been nothing but leading this tournament and ended up with a huge lead, over 100 pins after our final round of 8. Johnson, make sure that thumb is firmly in the ball. Check that hand positioning out to make sure it's in the same spot. It might feel the same, but you want to look at that. It is the same. That powerful follow through. Out to the 2 board and take them all down. A.J. Johnson. And A.J.'s just handling business at hand. May have been a little lighthearted earlier during qualifying. There may have been some lighthearted moments. He is going to find nothing lighthearted about this championship match. As he goes back to the ball return. Black ball in hand. And I guarantee if you put a stopwatch to this pre-shot routine, when he grabs that bowling ball, blows on the thumb hole until he gets on the approach and starts that movement, it's within a second every single time. Step to the line. Look at that shoulder. Open, close. There's where we want to get the ball before. Instead of that big pull in the second frame. And Johnson letting Hinrichmeyer know, and this is going to be far from a cakewalk for you if you want to take down this title. You don't see a lot of change in emotion on Hinrichmeyer from when he gets ready to step on the approach until after that ball goes through the pins. You'll get a little excitement out of him. Like that. There you go. There's your celebration. Time to get back to business because there's another ball I got to throw right away. You might see a little more huff and puff out of Hinrichmeyer after this shot because he knows he has a couple of frames before he's up again that Johnson has to throw, and he can get himself settled back down. That was one of the great things about Norm Duke. If you ever watched Norm, never celebrated when he threw a strike on the right lane on TV. But when he threw one on the left lane, he let you know he threw it, and he threw it well because he knew he had that time to come back down. And get yourself in that right mindset for your next opportunity. And how about that for Hinrichmeyer? The kid just strikes. All right, not just strikes. I mean, he makes a spare here and there too. But Johnson, you know, he's got his back turned. He's just worried about his own game. You can't do anything to influence your opponent. I mean, you can't pick him up and body slam him in the middle of a game. This isn't professional wrestling. You can't holler in somebody's backswing. Super unsportsmanlike. You can only worry about the factors that you control. One of those, you see for Johnson there looking down, he wants control. Throwing another strike. Down the target line. Watch that ball come in. Oh, it came in too hard. I'm a bit surprised by that as well. I thought he aced that one out of his hand. Unfortunately, we don't have Specto here on this end of the house. They do have Specto down on the low end. For those that come in and practice and want to improve their game, you watch strike tracks on those years of Fox telecasts. You basically have Specto. They use Specto for that, and I hope that continues with the new PBA contract coming in on the CW next year. And honestly, I don't think we've heard the end of PBA media changes for 2026 and beyond. As Johnson's just going to take his time. There you see his mom, Judy, his dad, Sean, several steps apart. Make sure you get that right feel on the thumb hole. That little extra moisture is something that AJ enjoys having. And thumb set up, ready to rock and roll. I don't want to say he's in mandatory strike mode already, but you got to start with one soon. There you go. Flush it down. No witnesses to that crime. Don't bother calling the Lockport Police Department, as that assault on 10 pins has left them on the missing persons list. I got to come up with a better one for that. I like the assault on 10 pins. You just have to come up with the follow through at the end. But there were no witnesses left at the end of the pin deck as all 10 pins disappeared. Now Hinrichmeyer looking to keep the string going. Yeah, you saw the 6 there just go, I'm done. I'm going to take a break. I'm not going to hit the 10. I want to raise. I want benefits. I want better working conditions. I keep getting hit by all these bowling balls. Barely give me a break. All right, enough of the silliness. Back to the reality. Hinrichmeyer needs to make this 10 pin. We saw him miss one earlier. I mean, there's only 2 blemishes on his scorecards. Or single pin misses. One didn't matter in the first game, as he already had the front 9. left the 10-pin match over, and then he left the 10-pin against Wilkins early on in the 5th frame, missed it, but then ran the sheet. So there you see 31 pins the advantage for Hinrichmeyer. I mean, Johnson can bring it back down to 21 with a strike when he steps up. And Hinrichmeyer, watch that ball step in, and another weak 10. All right, so maybe the urethane versus resin battle is starting that transition that's affecting the tip on Hinrichmeyer's ball down lane. Quick glance at the scoreboard, run the scenarios through his head on his max score, which is now 268. And hey, right, couple the facetious pat on his back for making a 10-pin after missing 2 of them earlier today, but once again, one of those was in the situation it just didn't matter. So Johnson's max 258. Hinrichmeyer's max 248. It behooves Johnson to throw 2 more strikes up here in the 7th and 8th frames, put a turkey on the board, and help himself stay in contention for this championship. Take it down for the 2nd time in 4 years. That head just doesn't move up or down. That balance phenomenal for Johnson. At the foul line, he could hold that pose for a week if he wanted to. And now back to the routine. A little bit on the shoe brush. A little bit on the rosin. But yeah. I mean, technically there is a shot clock in all PBA competition, but it's 25 seconds from when your ball comes back until you have to start your approach on the next shot. And in this situation, I don't blame A.J. Johnson for taking as much time as needed. It's not like anybody's going to call it a shot clock here. We're not constrained to a time limit on live streaming. But he's also not overly delaying the match. So Toby Contreras isn't going to call him out on that. I wouldn't call him out on that either. Strike here to keep him within mark. And set up a super exciting finish. Oh, he wasn't sure at the moment of break point, but when it finished through the 1-3, you saw Johnson take care of business. And you know, the most nervous people watching right now are Trey's parents on the live stream. Hope you guys are having a chance to watch. And AJ's parents in the back. Never easy watching someone you love try to take down a PBA regional title. How about that for Hinrichmeyer? Just crushed it to stay in the lead. And Hinrichmeyer is going to know what he needs in the 10th frame when he steps up in order to win the title. As with a strike here in the 9th and a re-rack by Hinrichmeyer. Strike here in the 9th gives no opportunity to Johnson for the shutout before Hinrichmeyer steps up in the 10th. I guarantee you, with the way these lanes have transitioned, with the amount of urethane that's gone down early, and now Johnson with the reactive. If Hinrichmeyer could take oil dry to the surface of that bowling ball, he would, making sure that surface is spotless. Foundation frame. Little left to target. Oh, and the 4 goes. You can see he knew he got away with that one a little bit. He was a little left of his previous spot on that lane. But the straight line speed of Hinrichmeyer keeps that ball on target. And now he knows he can't be shut out. Coming up in the 10th frame. A.J. Johnson to keep forcing the pressure on Hinrichmeyer. Must strike here in the foundation frame. Look at that great over the shoulder look. Look at how relaxed that right shoulder is to pivot that swing. Down the target line. It needs to break back hard, which it does. Great toss there in the foundation frame by Johnson, and this one's going down to the 10th frame. It didn't do that last year. Hinrichmeyer won by 40 pins this year. We've got some excitement in the final frame. And there is the remote possibility, once again, of a tie. If we get some non-strikes with particular places on it, there is a tie. It is a single ball roll-off. And A.J. Johnson would have a choice of order and lane to be bowled on, as he is our top seed. But first things first, Johnson's maximum 258. Hinrichmeyer's maximum 268. Is it going to happen? Oh, the 6 just gets the 10 down. Wasn't quite sure that was going to happen. And you see AJ going to himself right now going, come on. Get it there. He wasn't happy with what happened, and he's going to take another re-rack. And not a bad thing either, because looks like we got the head of that 7-pin out of there. So Johnson. Don't think we had a off-spot problem on that one. This one's just eat a little time, make your opponent think. And I guarantee you, Trey's not even thinking about that right now. Look at it. He's just head down. I'm sure there's some fingers wiggling right there. Can't blame him. Whatever it takes to keep you loose. And Johnson looking to keep that opportunity to get to 258. Ongoing. 11th frame. Hashtag buy the blog. 11thframe.com. Our friend Jeff Riggles. I know you're watching. Hope all is well for Susie Fever. Is it going to get back again? Oh, and almost the similar action of the 6 on the 10. And now Hinrichmeyer definitely has to strike first ball of the 10th frame. Will it require 2? Because if Hinrichmeyer goes strike 9 spare, that's 257 and a loss. So this shot here by Johnson, you talk about needing all 10. It's definitely a need for sure to make sure that Hinrichmeyer has to double in the 10th frame. He bowled 17 games to this point. He's 9 2/3 frames through the championship match. And this is the biggest shot of the weekend for Johnson. To force the double out of Hinrichmeyer. Flirts with the gutter, gets it all to go. And how about that? And I don't blame you with the come on right now. Clutch when he needed to be. But now, can this young man, Trey Hinrichmeyer, be clutch when he needs to be and take down this title for the 2nd year in a row? Last year, 244 was enough. This year it would have been a loss. And Hinrichmeyer needs a double here. First one's on the way. Is it in the pocket? Yes, it is, but the 10 doesn't go. You put it in the pocket, Trey. You did what you needed to do, but there is your champion for the 2nd time in 4 years. A.J. Johnson, I'll tell you what. I don't think that's the last time we see these two face off in a championship match in any way, shape, or form. Trey just taking the big hook at it, doesn't matter. There's your final score. And there's your champion, A.J. Johnson. We'll stick with A.J. here as we'll see Toby Contreras make the presentation of the awards on the lane.
Well, definitely one for the ages. Some superb shot making. It just implores me at how great these athletes are. And if that doesn't deserve the respect to show how much time these bowlers put into their craft, I'm not sure you're on what you're missing. But congratulations, Trey Hinrichmeyer climbed the ladder, got to the title match bowl, incredibly good, nearly 800 in his set for that 2/260s to 235 finish. And of course to A.J. Johnson, led nearly from game one through the whole tournament. It's been so close the last couple of years. Coming away with the victory here. I'm so proud of you guys. I love it. So I guess, Phil, I'll ask a couple questions and then we'll send it. Yes, he's got the thumbs up. So Phil gave me the thumbs up. So AJ, would you like to say a few words?
First off, Chris and all the staff here, really appreciate everything you do every year. It's pretty cool that regional near where I grew up is one of the biggest in the area, so it's the biggest in the area. So kudos to you, man. Really appreciate it. You know, I've been close. I think I won this 2 years ago, but you know, doing the same thing last year, and Trey beat me in the finals last year for his first one. You know, that's how I got my first one when I bowled against Tom. You know, all the way back in 2011. So, kid's got an amazing future, and he's done that in college and showed that last year, showed that this year when you were out of it, and battled all the way back to it. So, great bowling this weekend, dude. Great job. I guess the only thing is that I wish my son was here. So, it's the first time I've won since he's been born. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. So, I know he's watching with Alex. So, I'll get to see him here very soon. So, it's pretty cool. Being a father is the greatest title. I mean, I could lose every bowling match in the world, but the best title I have is being a dad. So, it's pretty cool. Allie holds the fort down for me and lets me travel the world and go and do this, and I try to do this to the best of my ability to provide for both of them. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. My nephew's birthday is this weekend, so I got a win for my nephew. That's pretty cool. And yeah, family, friends, you know, the support that I get is bar none. So, yeah, this is pretty cool. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Toby. Everything you do it the right way. So thank you. Yeah, you know, all that, my sponsors, I mean, none of this is possible without our sponsors. You know, the PBA allowing us to do this on the YouTube channel, so that was great. Phil does a great job with running that. We had cameras on every single pair. I don't know that I've bowled anywhere besides the national tour that that happens. So that was really cool, and kudos to you, Phil, for a job well done. You've been running tournaments since I was 15 years old, so I'm glad to see you haven't stopped. But all of our sponsors with the PBA, and then for me, you know, I couldn't do this without Motive, Turbo, H5G, you know, my new sponsors, you know, my dealership sponsor that gave me a truck to be able to drive everywhere for a tour, and my buddy Timmy with Key Global, and then Genesis and Tennessee Squire and the whole family and Bowler X. You know, I think I got one. I don't know. Yeah, KR did. You know, there's a reason why she was last all year. So, but no, it's great. I appreciate their support. They believed in me since the first day. And yeah, you know, I'm gonna go home and enjoy this and enjoy the Memorial Day weekend. Weekend that we don't get to celebrate if it wasn't for all of our veterans and everything they do. One of my best friends is a veteran, and our country needs to do more for them. So, celebrate the weekend for them. And thank you guys. Appreciate you guys watching, sticking around. Thank you.
All right, how about another Red Bar champion, A.J. Johnson. Awesome. Thank you for tuning in. Like he said, thank you to Mr. Pilbrado and his protege, Ro. Did a great job all weekend. Appreciate all you do. Chris Watson, family, staff, always exemplary. Thank you to all the bowlers making this tournament the success that it is. So until the next time, we thank you. We're very grateful, and we're blessed to have you.
Thank you, Toby Contreras. Thanks to everybody that's tuned in. Thanks to everybody that was here watching. We appreciate everything. Thanks to our veterans. Thanks to everybody who lost someone that gave us our freedom that we remember here on Memorial Day. And we'll see you soon. If you haven't seen us yet at the PBA LBC National Championships, please do so. You still have time to sign up. 7 weekends of tournaments action coming to you from Bellarmont Prospect. I'll be there. I want to thank Rogue Foppy, who was in the booth as well, running this great camera for you. We were able to see some wonderful shots today. She'll be there with us as well. There you see Chris Watson getting ready for that trophy presentation. And the picture Toby taking it. There you go. So for the PBA LBC National Championships, for our other sponsor on the season, for our 10 on the Deck live streams that we're lucky enough to bring you on PBA YouTube this weekend, H5G Brands as well. I'm $2 Phil Brilo. Hey, parents, take the kids bowling now because you know they're going to have fun for life, and someday soon they could become a champion just like A.J. Johnson. Good night, everybody. We'll see you soon.